I was gonna do another funny one-liner intro, but you know what's going on, so let's just get going. I've noticed since the pandemic started, and especially since lockdown was enforced, that people seem to be doing a lot of online shopping. So I investigated. And in my research, I found that there are two clear mindsets towards online shopping during the pandemic. Spend or save. Where you land on this spectrum largely depends on your personal income situation. Lockdown specifically has meant it's either easier to save money or much harder. Again, this depends on your personal situation. Working from home has meant that a lot of people aren't spending money where they used to, so they're able to save it. But that has also opened the floodgates for being alone at home, where you can just hop on Amazon and spend whatever you want on whatever you want. A lot of people have also lost their jobs, which would obviously have a direct impact on your ability to spend any sort of money on online shopping. And if that's you, I'm really sorry. My heart truly goes out to you. That is not a situation I want anyone to be in. We've actually fallen somewhere in the middle of this spectrum because I haven't worked a 9-to-5 full-time job in almost 2 years, yet somehow I've been able to indulge in a fair amount of online shopping. For example, this guitar, this guitar, this guitar, this guitar, this guitar, also this guitar, and this guitar. Oh, and this guitar. You'll be happy to know I've had numerous friends reach out to me asking if I have a problem. Reluctantly, I may have said yes. So why has this happened? Why have we all turned to rampant online shopping since the pandemic took over our lives? Are we just addicted to the rush of receiving and opening a new thing? The rush of clicking checkout? Are we just really bored? I'm curious, what do you tell yourself when you're staring at your cart full of goodies and your mind is begging you to click checkout? The back end of this lockdown, as money has steadily gotten more tight, I've actually turned to a prioritizing method with the items in my cart. Which thing has the most imminent need? What can I go without for longer? It's been a reasonably effective strategy, although I'm still spending money. In classic Paul fashion, I'd love to look a little deeper, so bear with me as I probe with some questions for your consideration. Is online shopping an appropriate method of self-care during a pandemic or in lockdown? Is it actually a method of self-care or simply a method of short-lived self-preservation? Should we condone it as a method of self-care, or should we be more concerned? Have longer shipping times during the pandemic resulted in a higher rush of dopamine whilst waiting and then receiving our item when it finally arrives? Kind of reminds me of an establishment my family and I used to go to when I was younger called Gourmet Pizza Kitchen. I remember whenever we would go, we would wait so long for our order to come. Like so long. But when the pizza finally arrived, it was always the best pizza we'd ever had. And now I'm kind of left wondering, was that because it was actually the best pizza we'd ever had, or because we'd waited so long that our body was just so ready to consume whatever was put in front of it? To be honest, I'm not sure of the correct answers to those questions, but I definitely think that our propensity to turn to online shopping as a form of self-care has its limits. So, I'd like to end this video with some tactics and methods I've come across to help control ourselves, even if just a little bit. If you see something you want, add it to your cart. Then wait 1 to 2 days. If you still want it and can afford it after 48 hours, then go for it. Be pragmatic. Ask those more practical questions. Will this actually be helpful? Can I comfortably afford this? How disappointed will I be if this doesn't live up to my expectation? Can I afford to wait and get it a little later? Does it fill a hole I currently have in my possessions? Does it fill a need? A final tip, one which I've only learned from painful experience, is think longer term. Ask yourself, what's something I'll probably want later that buying things now will make harder to get? I've lost count of the moments where something I've desperately wanted has come up, something big and expensive, and I've had to shamefully look back at all the smaller things I've bought that were simply a waste. They just ended up being a fad or a phase. Often, if I just had a little more self-control and thought bigger picture, I'd easily be able to afford those bigger, more important items when they come along. It's happened a few times with guitars and camera gear specifically, and I truly wish I'd had a little more foresight when making those smaller purchases. So, as always, I hope that my poor decisions can help you avoid making them yourself. Just be smart with your online shopping. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go look at some more guitars. Not really. Bye.